Have you ever met this kind of guys that will tell you, okay, this is supposed to be done by a woman, cooking is supposed to be done by a woman, kids belong to the mother, or they are completely disconnected to the modern world. They are simply in their own world that they have never moved on from the old type of life. Oh, my people, this is Glass Ceiling Shatter, the home of entertainment, matters, politics, relationship, and trending news. Now, there are 5 main old school behaviors that I want to highlight today in this video that some men still hold on to. First, some men think that when you leave them with their own biological kids, we are not even talking about kids probably they adopted or kids that a woman probably came with into the marriage or whatever, into the relationship. No, their own biological kids. When you leave them with them, that you are turning them to babysitter, a houseboy to do household chores. You are turning them to a house, they call them house managers, in short. They don't look at that in a modern way. They don't look at that as an opportunity for them to be able to bond with their kids, create memories with their kids, an opportunity to even know what their kids like and what their kids don't like. They don't like to do that. And that's why when you see many kids growing up, they can only relate with their mothers because their fathers were not there. Staying with your kids for a modern man is not babysitting. It is called parenting. Now, the second old school behavior is that there are still men that think that when they cook or clean the house, that is, you are turning them into women. My people, that's not true. Being able to cook and clean gives a man an opportunity to assist his wife, and that way the wife is also in a position to be able to make him also happy, because she gets to have more energy and she gets to also bond with the husband in a very good way. It gives the man also an opportunity to be able to appreciate when he finds a meal on the table, and to be able to appreciate the kind of work and the amount of energy required to do household chores. It is so old school for a man to sit in the parlor and to be calling everybody to attend to his needs, to give him coffee, lunch, dinner, while he sits and watches a TV or probably holds a remote and controls the entire TV set, music and all that, as he sits and does nothing. Or most probably he just goes out to be with what he calls the boys, and then later on comes in and begins to demand things and begins to say, this is not done well, cleaning was not done here, my shoes were not polished. That is so old school. It is improper for a woman to go and work, come back, and still be the one to do all the household chores. Now, let's talk about point number 3. There are still some men that have old school behaviors. Some who don't know where all their kids are. And when I say that, I mean it, because we know that men tend to give birth with more than one woman. Some of them have their kids out there. Some of them like impregnated a lady, left her and went and married another person. And they don't care about that child. It is so old school not to be able to co-parent. And you know why? Because in the modern world, it is so acceptable to accept that you actually gave birth with another woman and take care of that child. And you know why? Because the modern kids won't allow their fathers to just go. I tell you, even on your deathbed, even when you leave this world, that child will come and claim their position. Modern children know the value of having a father and they know the value of claiming what truly belongs to them. And they will come back calling. So it is so old school for you to not know where all your genes are. It is so old school as a man not to be in a position to cooperate with the mothers that of your kids. Whether you are married or not, you should be able to be open-minded. The fourth old school behavior is there are some men that still think that marrying more than one wife is fashionable. It is so old school to marry more than one wife at a time. The world has changed. We are not at our grandfather's time, and it is not possible to be able to give the modern women the attention they need, all of them at the same time, by a single individual. There's something we call pressure, inflation, struggle, and not being able to give enough emotional attention to each and every of these women. So it is so old school to think that it is fashionable to marry more than one wife at a time. Women now value to be loved, and their values, the value system for the modern woman is not like that one of your grandmother or grandfather or great-great-grandmother. It has changed. And people, the modern woman today looks at life from a very different perspective. And so it is so old school for a man to think that they can actually take care of the needs of the modern women, of more than one modern woman at a time. So the fifth point, or the fifth old school behavior, is that there are still men that think that women are not supposed to work. There are still men that think that a woman is only supposed to do household chores, take care of a child, of the children, run around in the house and make sure that he is comfortable. There are still men that think like that, but it is so old school to constrain your wife to household chores and taking care of your kids. You know why? Because she will never have the exposure, and you will not have anything else to talk about in your entire married life except household chores and taking care of kids. And this is not to say that women that have chosen to just be housewives have done the wrong thing. That's their choice. But as a man, if you are the one putting that constraint, then it means that you're just trying to be old school. When you allow a woman to go out and work, then you have a lot to discuss with her. Beyond the household chores and taking care of kids, you can talk about how the work went, and then you can open her mind up to be able to get exposed to opportunities of making money. And that way, you can be in a position to even live a better, a more happier life, where you can be able to go for holidays because you have money, where your kids can get better education because the two of you are making enough money, where all of you can actually be in a position to also communicate and relate at a level that is reasonable. There are men that marry women that are constrained to household chores, and these men don't feel proud taking their women out because they know that they cannot communicate well with other people. So that way, then they get limited to going out on their own, which is not good, because there are some men that have allowed their women to work and they are in a position to go out with their wives and show their friends who their wives are, because they are reasonable people, and because at the same time they have got the exposure, the training, and they have what it takes to be able to stand and talk to the world. What do you think, guys? Do you still meet those kind of guys that have a lot of old school behaviors? Please leave us your comments below and let us know what you think. And if you've not subscribed, please make sure that you subscribe to our channel. And please, let's see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.